there, how are you doing today? My name is Susan Tapley and I am the founder of My Sister's House DIY. Today we're going to be working on a really fun project that is perfect for summer or even into early fall. So sit back, get comfortable, and we are going to walk you through this whole project. If you decide you love it as much as I do, I'm going to put the link to my Etsy store in the comments. So you can go right in there and grab the wood kit that we're using and then follow along with this video step by step as we complete it together. You ready? All right, so here we have the base of our project. It is about 10 3/4 inches round. It has scoring lines so you know where to put your letters. And it also has some engraved parts where it says Farm Fresh, Sunnyside Farms, also free daily deliveries. So we're gonna make this sort of look like shiplap. So I've also done some engraved lines throughout the design. So all you're gonna need for this part is something to put some paint in. I'm gonna be painting this with a sponge. This you can find on Amazon. I'll send you the link for these. You can also use makeup sponges if you have some of those, but you're gonna need a pretty large one for this. You will notice that I am not using paintbrushes for most of this project. Just one for detail a little bit later in the end, actually two. So this is what we're gonna start with: the sponge, something to put your paint in, and some white paint. So we're gonna start by putting some of my paint into the tray. And the reason I'm using a sponge is that I don't wanna fill in all of this embossed or etched areas. I wanna leave the details showing. But using your paintbrush, it usually fills that in, but we're gonna be using a sponge. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna tap it lightly into your paint and then pounce most of it off. You don't want it to be drippy at all, otherwise it will go in and fill in the areas. So I'm gonna start where it says sunflowers here and just show you how I tap it on. And as you can see, it doesn't fill in those lines because it's not really thick with paint. So I'm going to continue through the whole design doing the same thing, tap most of that off, and then go over and tap your surface. So see, it is not filling in the brown areas where you can see that I have actually embossed that into the wood. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit just so you can watch this go a lot faster. So how was that for an arm workout? Oh my gosh, it didn't take very long to do. And if you want it to be a more solid white, let it dry and go in and do another coat on that. Next, we're gonna start working on the truck. You ready? Okay, so next we're gonna work on the body of the truck, and we're also going to be sponging this in. I'm using a very old bottle of Victorian blue paint. You can use whatever color you have or whatever color you'd like. I can put some suggested colors in my links also if you'd like me to do that. But we're gonna start with doing this in the same method with the pouncing and the sponges. So we're gonna go in, again, nice and easy. You don't wanna fill in all of your lines. Those really look great if they're showing in some areas. Other areas are gonna be covered. So I'm just gonna go in and start pouncing the truck. I'm not gonna worry about staying exactly in the lines like around the wheels and things like that because we can paint over it. This is kind of giving it a base coat anyway. And don't worry about the flowers either, not too much. Not a big deal if you go outside the lines. Don't worry about it. So this is going to be mostly blue. I'm going to stop kind of around the wheels and around the sunflowers, but the rest of it I'm going to pounce in the same way that I did the round base for this project. So keep an eye on this. Okay, we're also going to be painting the fenders to the truck. Just make sure that you have them right side up. Usually I don't sand the backs of them. Actually, I don't sand the back of anything that doesn't show. So you can usually tell, but just make sure that you are painting the right side. Otherwise, you have to go in there and paint again. Next, we're going to be painting the small pieces, the letters and the small flowers and a couple other pieces that go along with this set. So I take a piece of cardboard and I roll back a piece of painter's tape and attach the small pieces to it. So hold everything steady while we're painting. This works like a charm. Then you're going to go in with your little sponges and paint all those tiny little parts. I also went in and painted the centers of the sunflowers that are already on the truck. So how's it going? So far so good? All right, the next thing I'm going to do off camera, because you know how to do it. I'm just going to go over everything that I already base coated with one more coat just to make sure it's got a nice coat of paint on it. And then we're going to start working on the detail. Okay, next we're going to go in and paint in some of the details, the flower petals, the insides of the windows. There's actually a little, what do you call that right there? I don't know, we'll think of it later. I'm gonna paint the wheels and the bumpers all around the running boards here too. So let me know what those are called right there. So I'm gonna start up at the top with the sunflowers in that pretty gold color that I have. I did tell you that we were gonna use 1 or 2 paintbrushes, but it ends up, I think I'm gonna use 3, maybe even 4. So let's start by grabbing some of that pretty sunflower yellow, and we're going to paint the petals of the sunflowers. Try again not to be too heavy-handed. You want to leave those lines showing so you'll see the detail. If it happens to fill in with paint, find something pointy like this little spatula from my Cricut, or a needle or a pin, something sharp, and just kind of clean out those edges if they get filled with paint. It happens, it does. But try not to go too heavy with it. Our yellow sunflowers on the truck painted. Don't worry about the one in the middle because we're going to layer that other sunflower that we painted earlier on top. Next, we're going to do the windows and the tires, the running boards, and the little gatey thing that goes in the back of the truck. Are you from a farm? What do you call that thing? You may have noticed that I wasn't too careful around the tires because the inside is going to be covered with the little hubcap and the outside are going to be covered with the fenders. So don't worry if those don't look beautiful. I am going to go back in and do another coat on my sunflowers, and then we're going to do some highlighting and put it all together. I hope you're enjoying our project. Okay, so we have all of our pieces base painted. And the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to do a little bit of highlighting on your truck just to give it a little more interest. So this is absolutely optional. If you're comfortable doing this, let's do it. Otherwise, it's okay if you don't. You don't need to do it. It's just something that adds a little bit of, I don't know, dimension and highlights to your project. So I'm going to be starting out with a flat paintbrush, which is the one I've been using all along. To do a lot of my detail work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a damp brush and put about half of it in the blue. So you just have a little triangle here, and the other half I'm going to plunk into the white. So it's half blue and half white. I need another surface here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of blend those colors together on my plate. And you can use a paper plate or whatever you have, but you're kind of going to create like an ombre effect with your brush. And what you're going to do then is kind of take it to the areas where the sun would naturally be shining on your truck, in which case I'm going to do like the top of the bumper. Oh shoot, what am I doing? I don't need to do that. I need to do it on here. Don't do what I tell you, guys. Duh. All right, that won't show. It's going to get covered. Let's try that again. I'm going to dampen my brush again. And I'm going to reload with blue on one side and white on the other. Just a tiny bit of white, not too much. And blend that in. And then we're going to go over, like I said, where the sun would shine naturally on your bumper. Not your bumper. What are these called? This part of the truck. Here we go. I cannot like paint and talk at the same time. That's asking a lot. Okay, so just kind of smooth that on over. You want to blend it so it's not like super obvious. Just keep blending it with your brush. Again, if you are not comfortable doing this, don't. Practice a little bit maybe before if you want to try. You know what? If you're painting, you can always paint over it if you don't like the way it looks, right? Blue and white, just a tiny bit of white, blend it. Ooh, it's getting yucky, getting a little muddy in there. Let's try that again. Blue, white, blend. Okay, so I like it to be pretty liquidy because that way you can move it around easier. So I'm just hitting the top of the fender, that's what it's called, fender, and blending that in nice and easy. Just keep going over till you like the way it looks. Again, you can always touch up later. You see how that looks? And do the other one. Take your time. I'm going kind of fast because, you know, you guys are watching and I want you to not spend all day watching me try to do this. You can do it though. All right, we'll do the next fender, the same thing. I really like to have a wet brush. There are mediums that you can use to help this blend a little easier. I've actually never used it. I've always used water. But there's always more than one way to do things, right? Let's see, a little more. You'll feel it start to get a little draggy when you need to add some more water. It's just a damp brush. It's not like soaking wet. Okay. And go back over it a couple times and blend it in. You don't want it to be like an obvious white line. Okay. We're going to do the same thing on the hood of the truck and on top of the cab. And then grab some blue. A little bit of white, not too much white, just a little bit. Cannot believe I painted that fender. Yeah, whatever. Just practicing. A little more blue, a little more white. Blend, blend, blend. This might be a little too heavy. Yeah, looks okay. And then I'm going to go up the top of the hood, the roof of the truck rather, not the hood, the roof. I apparently don't know my truck parts very well. Especially this one. I think those are called railings in the back. I keep thinking about it. Does that sound right? Railings. All right, I think that's about all I'm going to do on there. I'm going to wet this and just blend it a little bit better. And again, if you don't like the way it looks, you can paint over it. No big deal. Oh, I missed a spot right here when I was painting the window also. Go back in and touch those things up as you need to. I think that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm also going to do a little bit on this bottom running board. I know that is a running board because my husband has a pickup truck not a farm truck, it's just a cute truck. And he has running boards, and I'm grateful because that gives me the ability to get out of his very tall truck. Otherwise, it's not pretty. Not pretty. Sorry, I think I'm off camera. Sorry. All right, that's got a little highlight on it. I'll blend it a little more with a drier brush. Good. All right, should I do any more? I think I'm going to highlight the flowers a little bit, and I'm going to use my very tiny thin brush here that I love, and I'm just going to draw like some lines that indicate, you know, the veins in the petals, just a little bit, not like crazy. Why is my brush so stiff? That's really stiff. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. This brush is not cooperating. Whoops. Pardon me. This must have got glue on it or something. It's really, really stiff. I'm trying to make it work though. I don't think I like it. I don't like it. I don't know why. Rinse it off. Gone. All right, let's try that with another color and a different brush. Try this one. Maybe I'll try it with another color, yellow. Let's try that. This is just a different shade. It's a little bit lighter, and it won't be as stark as the white was, which I didn't really like. All right, let's try this. Just kind of go in there. Oh yeah. Kind of outline the petals. Yeah, that's cute. Real cute. So I'm going around the kind of around the outside edges. You guys are noticing I am not being super careful because no petals are perfect, right? Just like us painters. Doesn't have to be perfect. You do you. I like the way this looks though. I'm going to finish up those and then we'll move on. Just a couple more details to finish this up. I am going to add a little bit of color to the door handle. I'd like that to be black. Now you guys can go in and add any details that you want. You may have a red truck, a blue truck, whatever you like. I just decided that I wanted a blue because I really like blue with yellow. So that's the reason I did that. I noticed that I didn't paint that window back there, so I need to go back and do that. Do your little touch-ups and add any details that you would like to. I am going to show you one way that a couple of ways I like to do some accents on this. And again, this is your project. You can make it as simple as you want it to be, or you can get fancy dancy and do all kinds of really fun things with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some little seeds to the sunflowers. Sunflower seeds are actually usually black, but they can be brown, they can be white, they can be all different colors, but I'm going to add a little bit of color to these using the end of my paintbrush. So I'm just going to dip it in and go cover a couple of the dots that are on the sunflower itself. Just kind of plop it on there, makes a little round circle, and it looks like you got some seeds. All right, just kind of continue that all the way through until you got some of those covered. Try to have sort of an even number, but it doesn't matter. I don't follow any pattern or anything like that. But I'm gonna do one more here. wipe it off, and I'll do some white. Oops, I forgot to do this little one that goes in the center of that one, which I actually can, yeah, I can do it. I'm gonna do it on the sides of the dots because they won't really show if I put my brush inside there because there's holes. But I am gonna add a little bit. Should have kept this on my tape that I did earlier, but I didn't. We just won't go crazy with it. Put some black on there. And then we'll grab some of the white and add a few little white dots too. Okay. You don't have to do all of them. Just do some if you want. You can do all of them if you choose. Do one more on this side. Cute. Some of these. Went outside the lines a little bit there, but no big deal, right? All right, I think that's where I'm gonna stop. And do the small one here. Guys, keep me on task here. Okay, good enough. All right, we're gonna let those dry. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some line work. Oh, I used this one here. It's called a Posca pen, and I will put the link to this in the comments also. This is a paint pen, and it's sort of like a marker. When you first get these, you have to pump them like crazy to get the ink or the paint to come down just by priming it. But I like to add a little bit of line work, especially on, like, I'm gonna put them on I keep calling them the hips. I know they're not. I know the fenders. So I'm just going to add a little bit of line work and dot work. Just do it very lightly. Just make a little line. It doesn't have to be straight. It can be squiggly. I like to add a couple of dots. See how that works? I don't think I'm going to go all the way around. I'm just going to put a couple on the front to highlight it. And I'm going to do the same with this. Right along the front edge. So squiggly line. And a couple of dots. You can make them in a triangle shape. You can make them just side by side. Don't have to be fancy here. That's that. And I think I'm going to do a couple along the top of the roof. Is everything dry here yet? Not quite. Okay, right there. And I'm also going to put some on the hubcaps, which are still on here. Let's move this aside. Come on, everybody, move. So those are going to be this way, going around the tire. So I'm just going to follow that same curve where the sun would shine. Like that. Okay. Where's the top for my pen? Cover that up. And I think we're ready to start putting it all together. You ready? Okay, here's our base. If you want to, you can distress the edges. You can do like a crackle finish on this before you put it all together. There's so many things you can do. Think outside the box and don't do exactly what I did. That's perfectly okay. It's your project. I am using Stick Fast thick adhesive. This is like a super glue. Try not to get it on your fingers and make sure that when you put it down, it's where you want it to be. So I'm gonna put some glue on the back of here. It works really, really well. Again, be real careful you don't get it on your fingers. I did that last time, even though I always warn you not to. Don't do what I do. Let's try to get that relatively straight. Oh, it's coming together. What do you think? So far, so good? Just checking my view, your view. Let me back up a little bit. Look like I can. There we go. That's better. Okay. There's our first layer. So far, so good. I still have to paint that. Let's do it now before I forget again. Got that little window there. And you guys can go back in and touch up anytime you want to. Don't mind me. Can't talk and paint at the same time. Can you tell? Super cute. I'm loving the way this is coming out. Hope you do. Again, I'm going to put the link to the cutouts, excuse me, in my Etsy store, and also some of the products that I've used in my, I can put them, I'll give you an Amazon link for those too. This is the front bumper. Should be dry by now. Pop that down. Oh, wait, is that the wrong side? It's the wrong side. Ah, guys, help. It's a back bumper. All right, this one's got glue on it, so I'm just gonna put it on. There we go. Oh yeah. Really cute. All right, next, this sunflower is a little tricky. You gotta be sure that it's in the right spot before you glue it down, because otherwise your petals will not match. So I wanna make sure that can't be perfectly right the first time. I don't trust myself. That's pretty good. Not quite. Keep turning. Nope. There's got to be a trick to finding where it goes. That's perfect. That's where it goes. All right, so let's put some glue on there. Don't get too close to the edges or you'll get it on your fingers. Let's see if we can get it in the same spot. Yeah. There we go. All right, and this is the top layer of the sunflower. I'm gonna put it on here. Otherwise it'll squeeze through. It goes there. We need our hubcaps, and we're gonna put the letters on. So let's see. Here's our hubcaps. I'm gonna glue it on here, glue on here. So make sure that your highlights are facing the left, where the sun's shining from. Same with this one. There we go. All right, the next part we're gonna do is the letters for sunflowers. And my best advice is to use a pair of tweezers. Otherwise, you are going to get glue on your fingers or other places you don't want to. When you're picking them off the tape, be really, really careful because they can break. They're very small and thin, so you just want to be aware that they can break. If they do, it's not the worst thing in the world. When you put them together on your piece, just push the broken edges together and you'll never know. You'll never see it. Might as well just pull these all off. Things break on me all the time like that, and I just glue them back together. There we go. All right, here we go. Get your tweezers ready. We're gonna start with S. I always make sure that my S is in the right direction because sometimes they look the same, but usually the bottom half of the S is a little bit wider. Have you ever noticed that? All right, really careful. And just a dab will do ya. Remember dippity-doo? They used to say that, just a dab will do ya. I'm showing my age here. My mom used dippity-doo. Okay. The tweezers really helps with placement. Yep. All right, this is another one. The N has a little thing on the top, not on the bottom corner. Right here, not right there. So do you see any more trucks in your future? Would you guys like to see trucks with pumpkins for fall, or maybe a Christmas truck? You'll have to let me know if you'd like to see more trucks. It's really wonderful to have these guidelines printed on there. Helps a lot. Turn a little bit here and there. Oh, so pretty. Keep grabbing these by the wrong side and have to adjust. Try it from this side. And remember not to put too much glue on there. Grab it from this side. It should go down. Yeah. It does set up quickly, so make sure you have it in the right spot. I love the font they used for this truck. The sunflower font. Almost done. 2 more letters. Yikes. Whoops. Don't want to spill that glue. All right. There she is. It is done. All right, I'm going to turn my camera again so we can chat. All right, our project is done. What do you think? Do you love it? I think it came out so cute, and I think it would look really cute in a red truck, which is tradition, but like I said, I love blue and yellow together. I think it looks great. If you are interested in getting the wood cutouts for this, I will be posting it in my Etsy store, and I'll include the link in the comments of this video. So if you decide that you want to order it, just go back to this video and watch it and do it with me step by step. Now you know what all the pieces are called to. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again for another really fun project. Next time is going to be a big sign filled with pumpkins. I hope you enjoyed. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.